Well, yes, I had one when I jumped on Goat Mountain. It's pretty high up. It's over 8,000 feet up there. And the spotter thought he was dropping us in a nice clearing, smooth, a little bit of brush, but not much. And there was just only a couple of trees in there. So we jumped, and we both hit the target area real good. And my buddy got in one tree, and I aimed for the other one. And I did get the first selection because I was the second jumper. But one shroud line went over one limb on the tree, and the meadow wasn't as level as they thought. It was pretty steep. So I swung out and swung backwards, and I landed in the rocks underneath there on my back. And the only thing was good is I had that backpack board on still on my back and spread the shock down. But it hit so hard that my heel came down and hit a rock and crushed the back of my heel, and it ruined my boot. But the I looked up. I couldn't breathe. I was expelling air and going like this, and I could not get any air intake. And this old lookout tower guy that was on there, he was standing over me, just glowering and looking at me. My buddy got down out of the tree and came over and pumped me up and got me breathing. And I would like to find out who he was because I don't remember his name. And I'm trying to research him to see if he's still alive. And if not, I'd like to thank his family for saving my life that day. And I had to be packed out of there on a mule. And it seemed like about 10 miles we went, no roads into that place. But I had to get my chute out, so I couldn't get to the fire. So my buddy he put it out, and I never did get to that fire. But I had a 38 pistol on my belt, and I pulled out my gun, and I was getting ready to shoot the limb off the tree, small limb, and get my chute down. And I could gather up his gear and maybe mine by crawling around in that thing. And then all of a sudden I noticed some motion down below me about 150 feet. And I looked down there and here this great big mountain lion crossing the clearing. And he stopped and he wouldn't fall up and just stood there and he kept looking at me. And I kept thinking he must think I'm going to be supper for him. And so I knew if I shot him, I probably wouldn't kill him and he might attack me or whatever. So I fired my gun at a rock right behind the animal, and it sparked pretty good, and he took off, and I never did see him again. And later, the old lookout tower operator stand talking to me, and he says, "I looked down at you, and I knows you was gasping your dying breath." And I thought, well, why didn't you kick me or something? You can do something, But that was one incident that was kind of amusing.